What's good, everyone? It's Nigel here, Blacksthetics Apparel. So, chest day came along today, and it was a chest session done purely with dumbbells. So, I'm going to show you how you could do an entire chest session using dumbbells only. No need for the barbells, just the dumbbells, and you could have a really solid session doing this. So I started off after warming up, like I always say to you guys, warm up sufficiently, as it's very cold in the UK, despite the sun being out today, which is a rarity. It is very cold. So I started off my first set, 50 kilos straight in, as I normally do. As you can see, the sun is shining in the UK, so it's a rarity in the winter. 50 kilos, started off 4 sets, 10 reps, 50 kilos. For some reason, the dumbbell felt a little bit heavier today. The thing about chest or training any body part, if you get too used to doing a certain exercise, so whether it be barbells as opposed to dumbbells, you'd find that if you do one exercise too much, you then find that you when you move on to doing, say, dumbbell, in this case for me, it felt slightly heavier because the movement is slightly different. Despite it looking the same, the movement is different from moving from barbells to dumbbells, in my opinion. So you'd find that despite the fact that you can lift really heavy, maybe on barbell or bench a certain amount, you move on to dumbbells and you can't bench as much because it's a slightly different movement, and vice versa. It's pretty normal, and that's what I experienced today. So I believe this was my 4th and final set on the 50 kilo dumbbell incline press, slightly incline, as you can see here, not flat bench. The fatigueness started kicking in right at the end. I believe I got 10. I don't know if you were counting, but I believe I got 10 at the end. And then I moved on to the close grip, one of my favorite. I mean, you guys have seen me do this many times before. So the close grip press. So you bring in your tricep in this movement, but it's predominantly your upper chest you're going to hit doing this movement. For those of you who've seen my previous videos, I've explained this already, but for anyone who's newly subscribed, this is a great chest exercise, a very neglected chest exercise, the close grip press. And as I'm pushing the dumbbells up here, I'm squeezing both dumbbell into each other. You can see a better angle here. So I'm actually squeezing dumbbell into each other to get maximum effort into the chest, the upper chest, as I carry out the movement. You don't see many people doing this exercise in the gym. I don't know why. Maybe most people are not aware of it. I don't know, but it's one I do almost every other chest session. And I think it's a really great exercise. You don't have to go too heavy on it. I certainly don't go too heavy on that exercise, especially having come from doing a heavy set, moving into that. I'm fairly fatigued anyway, and you may feel the same if you're doing it. So don't worry about going too heavy. It's more so about squeezing. I really squeeze squeezing the dumbbell together and really squeezing that chest and mind muscle connection when you're doing that close grip dumbbell press. And then I move on to dumbbell flies. This is your conventional dumbbell flies. Like I said, it's a dumbbell only session. So yeah, you're kind of limited in how many exercises you can do for the chest. But yeah, this is another great exercise. And I've got really an exercise coming up. I think 2 exercises from this that you got to stay tuned for. I think you like it. It's a neglected chest exercise. Some people say it hits your lats more than it hits your chest. Like I say to you, I train on feel. So I definitely feel that exercise more in my chest than I do so in my lats. So stay tuned for the I believe it'd be my final exercise on chest. And here we go. Here you go. So this movement. Now this is you gotta get the technique right for this movement. Sometimes you see people doing this with their back off the bench. I use the entire bench for it. Whichever way you feel comfortable, do it. But I think this is the best way. to do it. I think I was using 44 kilos here. So it's a fairly substantially, it's a heavy weight essentially to do this exercise. But if you've never done this before, I say go with a lighter exercise. Get used to the movement before you try and perform it. But this is not an exercise you don't see many people doing. It's a really good exercise. It hits your entire chest. From the top to the middle to the bottom. It's a great movement. Yes, you will hit your lats as well, just by the very nature of the movement. Hence why I said before, some people use it as a lat or on their back day to hit their lats. I think it's predominantly a chest exercise. I feel it more in my chest, so hence why it's one I add to my chest days. Especially if your chest days are getting a little stale or getting a little bored. I hope you could come on here and find some alternative exercise or some exercise you haven't done in a while to freshen up your chest day. Yeah. The bench is slightly on a decline here. I mean, you don't have to put the bench on a decline. You could go flat. I'd choose to go slightly decline to make it slightly easier because the weight I was using was fairly heavy, to be fair. So hence why I had the bench on a slight decline. And then that was my chest essentially finished. I moved on to bicep. It was a chest and bicep kind of day. And there's nothing to explain there. Your seated bicep curls. And the reason I kind of prefer the seated bicep curls, like I've said to you guys before, is that the opportunity to swing the weights and cheat is less by sitting down when you do these. So I find that, it's more concentrated when you sit down to do these bicep curls. So, I mean, it's up to you whether you want to do it standing or seated. I mean, I do it standing as well, but I think that doing it seated is it's more concentrated on the biceps. So mix it up, do standing and seating, but I prefer seating or doing these seated to stand. And you can see I'm doing drop sets here. I pretty much do drop sets on every bicep session. Started off with 18, dropped to 14, then dropped to 10. Then I moved my way back up. By the time I got down to 10, the fatigueness started kicking in. And the idea was to move my way back up doing hammer curls, which is slightly easier than doing the conventional dumbbell curls as I'm doing here, as you can see coming up. So I went 18 kgs for 10, 14 kgs for 10, then 10 kgs for 10. Then I moved my way back up doing hammer curls here. I believe there you go. So 14 kgs for 10. By now, the burn was really probably slightly seated in my face or not. I really started feeling it here in 10 reps and then moved back up to where I started, which was 18 kilos, I believe, for 10 reps. Now, the burn here is sensational. I'm a massive fan of drop set, as you guys know. You see me do this all the time, whether it be chest days, leg days, etc., etc. I'm a massive fan of it. I think, whether you rush for time or whether you're whatever, I think you cannot miss on drop sets because you push the muscles to its limits. You can see here that the pain is severe. And pretty much what I did before. All in all, I did 4 sets of every exercise today. So drop set again was 4 sets of these. And after this, I then moved on to what is one of my favorite bicep curls. It's the Arnie curls I went on to do after this. Nothing nothing to really add here, to be honest. It's it's your seated bicep curls, drop sets, And this off season, I've kept myself fairly lean. At the minute, I'm around 94 kilos. My stage weight is normally around 90 to 91 kilos. I'm about 3 to 4 kilos off my stage weight, which is good for me. I feel really good. The eating is on point. I think. Well, you have your off days as well. But you know, it's as good as it can be, I suppose. It's always room for improvement, right? We could never get it perfect, but who needs perfection anyway? But yeah, I'm fairly happy with the condition I'm in, be it off season. So moving into competition this year, we'd see how things pan out and how I look. I've never stayed this lean in the off season for all the years I've been bodybuilding. So it'd be interesting to see how uh, you know, the dieting phase, the prep phase goes, if and when I do decide to prep for my next competition this year. These hammer curls are, for obvious reason, easier than doing your conventional curls. It's a good way to finish off, I think. Again, to really fatigue the muscle, the biceps here. Like I said, the drop sets. Uh, started with 18 kilos. And I'm finishing with 18 kilos. Started doing the conventional bicep curl, then finished off doing the hammer curls, as you can see here. So yeah, it's probably one for you to try if you really want to fatigue. You can almost see my biceps growing during this session. So yeah, you could tell that it's working. And this I pretty much finished off on. Again, it's my favorite, one of my favorite bicep exercises. I say that quite a lot, I think, but no, it genuinely is. You'll see the bicep really working here. You got to get the angle right on these. But it's a great isolation exercise for the bicep. So this is, for some, you know what? This is probably all you need to do if you really want to build your biceps. Of course, it's good to throw in some other exercises, but if you want to build your bicep, you do these every bicep session. Your bicep cannot but grow, cannot do anything else but grow. This is a great isolation exercise. You can see, you can literally see my biceps growing here during these reps. So yeah, I cannot big up this this exercise enough. It's a great exercise for building your biceps. So yeah, try it. Definitely add it to your bicep sessions, your bicep days. So yeah, that was pretty much it. After I completed this, I did again drop sets. I believe I started off similar to what I did with the seated bicep curls. I started off at 18, dropped to 14, then dropped to 10, I believe, and then did it on both sides essentially. So yeah, again, yeah. What else needs to be said about this particular exercise? A great exercise. If it works for Arnie, it will work for you, and it certainly has worked for me. So yeah, great exercise. So yeah, that was pretty much it for the session. Did 4 sets of these at the end, um, and yeah, believe my next session would be legs. So stay tuned for that. Please like, please subscribe to all my new subscribers. Thank you very much. Leave a comment, whether it be positive or negative, whether you want to give me some advice or not, whether you've learned something from my videos or not. Please let me know. Leave me a like, leave me a comment. It really does help me to keep making these videos. These videos are not easy. You know, filming in commercial gyms are never easy. You know, so but thank you to everyone who subscribed and liked, and I hope you guys have learned something. And this is my off-season condition coming up now. There you go. Off-season, 94 kilos. Yeah, I'm feeling good. Anyway, see you guys in the next video. Much love. Peace.